Hey, Chandler Bolt here, and in this video I want to talk to you about a concept I call control the controllables. Anyone who knows me well knows that I'm a huge Clemson football fan, and a lot of things I actually learned are from watching interviews and listening to coaches and all those things. And this is actually a concept I learned from Ben Boulware, who's kind of a legendary linebacker at Clemson. And he said, he's been asked about his prep for the game and about the season and things like that. And he just said, hey, what we're trying to do is control the controllables. We always talk about controlling the controllables. And that just really stuck with me. And I started to read all these business books, and these concepts the dots started to connect. Now, one of my favorite books is called 4 Disciplines of Execution. And they talk about this concept of leading versus lagging indicators. Now, one huge mistake that a lot of entrepreneurs make and a lot of managers, leaders in general make is focusing way too much on the lagging indicators. So lagging indicators is basically like, hey, what are the results? So for sales, this would be revenue, or this might be profitability for the company, or it's all these things that it's kind of controllable, but not actually. It's actually a result metric. And what they argue in the book, and what I really believe in, is that instead you should focus on the leading indicators. So leading indicators are what we would call controllables. So when I say control the controllables, we look at the leading indicators. So what are the activities and the things that we can measure that if we control those things, it will lead to the end result that we desire. So this was a huge shift internally at Self-Publishing School. We shifted away from all these results-based goals and all these results-based metrics and all those things, and we started to look upstream at what are the controllables that we could control, or what are the lead indicators that if we do those things, we'll have what we would call a green day or a red day. So I've got a separate video on green days and red days and how to create a scoreboard for your team or for your company where I talk about this concept. But essentially what we do is we drill down all things in our business, so it doesn't matter what department, into what are the controllables, and then daily, weekly, monthly, what does success looks like, and then we know whether we had a green day or a red day. So a green day means we hit the controllables for that thing. Now I'll give you a story, and then I'll give you some practical examples that illustrate this point. Now when I was in college, I did an internship called Student Painters. Now Student Painters, they teach you how to run a business by running a house painting business. So you paint houses. My goal the first year was I want to be #1 in the company and #1 in the country and run the biggest business of anyone. And so my manager, very smartly, one of the first things he said to me was, okay, that sounds great. So you want to hit $100,000, be the #1 business in the country. Let's break that down. And he essentially walked me through this controllables exercise. So, all right, you want to hit $100,000. Our average job size is about $1,500. So if you do $100,000 divided by $1,500, that's how many jobs you're going to have to sell. All right, now our average estimates close rate is 40% or so. So this means you're going to have to get X estimates. Well, now, only 70 to 80% or maybe 90% of our estimates show up. So that means you're going to have to book more estimates than you complete. On average, you got to knock on so many doors and hand out so many flyers and lawn signs and things like that to get this number of estimates. So we broke it all the way down to this weekend. You need to pass out 1,500 flyers and knock on 500 doors. And so that was my controllable. And I knew that if I hit that controllable every week, then I should expect to hit that goal. But if I didn't, I shouldn't expect to hit that goal. If I had too many red weeks in a row, then why would I think that I'm gonna hit this goal? But this is a mistake that I see so many people make, is they just throw out a goal and then they say, cool, I hope that I hit it. And they don't actually break it down into the controllable metrics that lead to that result. Now this is very similar to another concept that I have a video on called the 20-mile march. Now the 20-mile march, I can kind of explain the full concept in that video, but this is essentially saying, hey, how can you break down your big goal into that 20-mile march, or that one thing that just daily, if you do it consistently, you're going to achieve the end goal. So this is just kind of a blending of all these different principles, whether it's the 20-mile march, leading versus lagging indicators, control the controllables, all this kind of blended into this singular thing. Our KPIs, how we set up KPIs, all that is blended into this concept. Now I'll give you a final example and then we'll wrap the video. So one of the easiest examples is in sales. So if we say, hey, we want to hit $500,000 in sales this month, we know that we need X number of appointments. We need our close rate to be X. We need X number of appointments per day per rep. And then every rep breaks down, did I have a green day or did I have a red day, based on these key metrics that they can control. Now what the marketing team can help control is the number of appointments booked. What the sales team can help control is the percent of show up rate, the percent of close rate, the average order value, things like that. That's what they can control. So we have each kind of controllable for the different departments, and then they know what they need to hit. So at the end of the month, it's not a surprise. They know, oh, I missed on this because I missed on my controllable of close rate or of appointments or things like that. Another thing that we have is what we call the Suzy success metric. So this is for internally for customers for self-publishing school. We say, hey, there's a handful of things that if we do these things, our students are going to be set up for success and they're not going to refund. That's things like booking a welcome call, booking their first coaching call, making sure that they log in, they go through our orientation checklist. So now we track these as controllables. And anytime a student's not successful or we get a refund request or any of those things, we go back and look and we say, hey, controllably, did we do the things that we needed to do? And then if we did, and it still led to a refund, hey, that happens. If we didn't, we know that controllably, here are the things that we can take extreme ownership over, and here are the things that we can fix. So as a manager, as a leader, I am now able to manage or lead to the controllables, not to what can feel like a result that's not controllable. Because there's nothing more demoralizing as a team member than to have your manager just hounding you about something that you don't feel like you can control. So whenever possible, we want to break down that end result that we want and break it into the controllables and then control those controllables. So that's it. That's the controllables principle. Comment below. I'd love to hear from you. So what's one thing that you can break down? So a big goal that you have, and what's a controllable that would lead to that end result? Scroll below, comment on this video. Seriously, do it. Comment below. Let me know what's one thing you can control that will help lead to the goal that you have. As always, click the subscribe button for more videos just like this, and I'll see you in the next one.